Hi, welcome everyone to another session of Human Manual. There are manuals for every machine in this world except the most powerful machine, and that is the human machine. The most beautiful machine is our human machine. Let's take a little peek into that machine today. Let's take a peek and see how the human machine works. Welcome everyone to another session of Human Manual. Today, we're going to talk about if you haven't failed, then you haven't tried enough. There's a very fine line between brilliant innovators and absolute failures. There's really a very fine line. You know, we all admire people who are successful, innovators who are brilliant, and we all mock people who are absolute failures. What has this done? Basically, this has conditioned us to avoid failure. What does failure do? Failure gives us pain, and we try to avoid the pain. So in order to avoid the pain, we just do not want to try. The most important thing is to be absolutely fine with failure, conditioning our body to accepting failure as part of our regular routine, as part of life, using failure as a stepping stone to the next level, using that as a step towards your success. Failure is something which we need to ingrain and not be afraid of. We basically fail from day one. If it was not for failure, you wouldn't be able to walk today. What does a child do when he learns to walk? Every time he takes the first step, second step, he trips, falls, then he corrects himself. The brain automatically registers that you've fallen. I mean, at that point, you're not afraid, you're not ashamed of you fell and you tried, because you don't know. That time, the social norms have not hit us. Every time we fall, we pick up, we correct ourselves, and we go forward. If we could have continuously kept the same attitude in life, that's how you get success. As we grow up, our brain learns to register what's happening around us, we get habituated, we become part of our society. You keep registering different things from our surroundings. We are all a creature of a surrounding. We all mimic each other to some extent or the other. I mean, unknowingly, unconsciously, we all behave the way people around us behave. So what have we learned all these years? We have learned that we don't like to be looked down upon, mocked upon. People should not laugh at us. We are always hiding our failures. We are always hiding our failures from our friends, from our parents, from our families, from our teachers. Have you ever seen anyone go out and proudly talk to someone and say, listen, guess what? I was trying this and I failed. Oh my God, I failed and I love it. It's okay. You know what this failure has done? I love it. The reason I love it, because I know because of this failure, I will correct myself. I will get better. Had it not been for this failure, I would not be able to move forward. So have you ever seen anyone go and react and say, listen, I'm happy that I failed. It's part of, something that is going to help me improve. Failure are nothing but stepping stones to our life. Every time, whenever you want to climb up, right? What do you have to do? When you have to climb up, you have to climb the stairs. So why can't we look at failure as just one of those steps, right? We all need to climb up. Any climb you do, you have to take steps, right? Failure is a success if you learn from it. Failure will give you the strength and courage to take the next step. Without the courage and the strength, you will not be able to take the next step. There is a very fine line between brilliant innovators and absolute failure, between the most successful people and even the unsuccessful. No matter which field of life you take, whether it's sports, whether it is academic, industrialist, no matter what field in life, actors, anything, the only way you can become a great actor is you have to be absolutely not afraid to speak out and fail, and you get better. Just remember, failure is not a dead end. Failure is just a directional change. Whenever we go from destination A to destination B, what do? We always take different roads to get to our destination. Life is always getting from a destination one to the other is not always a straight line. Life is not a straight line. There is always changes that we have to do. What do? We adapt, and then you keep moving from destination until you progress and reach your final destination. So always remember, failure is not a dead end. If you look at people around us, people who are successful, you could be absolutely sure they have conquered the fear of failure. The most successful people are the ones who have failed probably the most. The lowest ranks of people in any field are the people who haven't tried enough. To be honest with you, I would rather love to fail at something which I love to do rather than be success at something which I hate. In our mind, we're always evaluating the risk-reward ratio. A lot of us do not even want to try if the risk-reward ratio in our brain is an 80-20. Even in our brain, if you feel there's an 80% chance of success and 20% chance of failure, what do? You avoid it. What about the most successful people? They go out there and they even go out and take a chance on things which have a 20% chance of success. Exactly the opposite, right? Because they feel, listen, there is an opportunity of 20% of success, there's an opportunity of 10% success. But they go out and take those chances. How do they improve their chances? They go from a 10% chance, they try something, they try that, and then they see what the results are, and then they keep improving their ratio. They keep improving their chances of success. And that's how they get from 10% to 100%. But if you do not try, if you do not even want to attempt, how are you going to change that success ratio? How are you going to change the percentage to your benefit? The greatest mistake you can make in life is to continuously be afraid you'll make one. The depth of failure, how seriously you take failure, is nothing but something which is in your mind. If you consider failure and if you keep brooding on the failure, if you keep on cursing yourself, if you keep on putting yourself down, and if you keep on saying how badly you performed, that's the depth. You just get the fear of failure deeper and deeper in your mind. The idea is, what do when you fail? You just get up, dust yourself off of the fear of failure and say, fine, I'm going to move forward. It all depends upon how much time we give that failure thought in our mind. How deep do we want that to stay in our mind? Some of us have that failure and get rid of that failure thought in minutes, and they just rise up and move on. Some of us take much longer. Some of us take it on for hours. Some of us for days, months. It all depends upon how reoccurring those thoughts of failure come in your mind. You have to stop that reoccurring thought of failure and just think the failure is nothing. That was just another step. And I just have, I'm glad that I had a failure. Be happy that you fail. Be thankful to God that you fail. Yeah, consider that as part of life and just move on. Move on to the next thing. And the more you try, the more you make attempts, the higher the success ratio is. You will keep improving that ratio of success with every attempt that you make. So it's just like crossing a tunnel. You go through the dark, and what happens at the end of the tunnel? There's light. So similarly, a failure is nothing but a dark tunnel. Just think, there is going to be light at the end of the thing. Visualize the light at the end of the tunnel. Visualize that there is success ahead. And what basically failure is doing is just giving you the direction to success. Fear is the main source of superstition and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. Every time we try something new, we need to do it 3 times. First, to get over the fear of doing it. Second, to learn from the mistake. And third, to see if you like it or not. The minute you try something new, you will learn from it. You will know whether it's a success or not. If it is not successful, there's no such thing as unsuccessful attempt. If you have failed, consider that to be a success. The reason is, fine, you failed at something, but then you learn something from it. And the third thing is you figure out whether you like it or not, whether you want to do it the next time or not. If you have failed, what do you need to do? You need to analyze failure. You need to learn from it. If you have not learned from it, then that muscle will not build. You have to have an attitude of what do I learn? How do I do this better the next time? You need to turn a complete blind eye to the people around you, to the surroundings. People, if you have made failure, if you have failed in front of your friends, be happy to admit it. Do not be shy of admitting your failures. That will give you the boldness and the success to make another attempt, to try it the second time, to try it the third time. You need to just completely turn a blind eye to everyone around you, and don't be afraid of people laugh at you. Don't be afraid if people mock you. Don't be afraid if people try to make fun of you, if they make a joke of you, because the person who is laughing at you has not failed enough. That's what this video is all about. We're trying to get away from person who has not tried enough. We are trying to be the people who are going to try what we want. We are going to try at where we want to go, and we're going to fail, and we're going to love our failure. We're going to learn to accept failure. We're going to learn to appreciate. We're going to learn to understand failure as a tool for success. The minute you start to learn to talk about your failure, what does it show? It shows you're no longer concerned about what people think. You like to talk about it because it registers in your brain better, and you will make another attempt until you reach your goals of success. Do not be one of those people who have not tried enough, who are afraid, who are ashamed, who have an inferiority complex. The people who have the biggest fear are the people who are afraid of society. Do not be afraid of what people in the society think about you. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Your love for success has got to be greater than your fear of failure. I have chosen today's subject due to my own failures. I am today where I am because of my failures. I have failed umpteen times. I have attempted several things. Every time I've tried something new, every time I've tried to discuss it with my family, with my friends, you'll have 90% of the people telling you, listen, you're crazy to try that. Guess what? Turn a blind eye to those 90%. Very rarely will you find someone telling you, go ahead and try. Go ahead and try that. Today, the best products in life are due to failure. Some of the best innovations, some of the biggest luxuries that we have in life are due to failures. Can you imagine if it was not for Wright brothers, do you think we would be able to fly today? Do you understand what a great convenience? Airplane is just one example, but there are several of them. How many times do you think Wright brothers tried before they reached the success? Hundreds of times. Do you know what kind of fear of failure they had to cross to get to where they are? Having to learn every time they took to flying, every time that they could die. What is the biggest fear? We are afraid to even try a small thing. But then when you look at some of the challenges of some of the innovations that have happened by these successful people, I'm always amazed. I cannot even imagine how many of us would make an attempt to try something that we could die from it, right? Probably, very, 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 very small, a very small percentage. Almost every product that we have today, every product around you is due to someone failing, making an attempt, and improving himself and getting better at it. Whether it could be an iPhone, Steve Jobs, whether it could be Post-it notes, granola, penicillin. There's so many things that I can think of. Cars, trains, computers, lights, phones. You can just name any product and almost go back and read the history of that person who invented that, and you will see how many times he has failed and how many times he has overcome the fear of failure and made an attempt. That's how you get to the success. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Remember, you want to be in a greater place, than where you are today. All of us in life, what are we trying to do? If you're trying to be in a greater place, if you're trying to be better, if you're trying to bring happiness to our life, if you're trying to get more comforts, we all want to be better than our peers. How do you get there? By trying. I hope we have learned today that we are going to make an attempt at something new. Thank you all for spending your time with me today. I hope the next time I see you, you would have attempted many new things. And I hope next time I see you, you would have been bolder than where you are. We all want to be greater than where we are. And hopefully, I'll see you in a much better place than where you are today. God bless you. Just as you go to the gym to improve your physical health, the idea of making these videos is to better the health of your mind. Our endeavor is to bring you better quality videos. So please give us a suggestion. When you wish others well, nature wishes you well. So please share this video. Subscribe to get notified about new videos.